Hi everybody, it's Gemma. How is everyone today? It's been a really long month. I think January has gone on forever. So what I thought I would do a quick video on today is rereading. I have read so many new books since I started BookTube, which is obviously a good thing, but I also wanted to talk about rereading. I am definitely a rereader, and there are some books that I've been rereading every year since I was 15, so that's like a 20 years. I have read some of these books upwards of 20 times, and last year I didn't reread any of them, which is the first time I think I've not done that, because obviously I was like, I'm on BookTube, I want to read loads of new books, I want to keep up with what everyone's doing, but I really missed reading those books, and I thought I would gather together the usual suspects, talk a bit about them, why I always reread them, and hopefully I can persuade some of you guys to pick them up this year as well. So the lone classic on the list is Dracula by Bram Stoker. I read this, I think, when I was in high school for the first time. I had read Interview with the Vampire. I was a little goth child, and well, Dracula is where you start, isn't it? This is a very modern book for a book that's quite old. It's told in a series of epistolary letters, gramophone records, newspaper clippings, lots of different things, and it is always so adaptable because of that. I think when I was watching Maven of the Eventide, she said that Dracula is like the most adapted character ever in the Western canon, which would not surprise me because it's got so many offshoots and reimaginings and retellings and everything like that, that it's just endlessly redoable. Also, it's what is it they call it? It's copyright free. It's in the public domain now. It's not got any copyright on it. So of course it's redone all the time. One of the best versions, I think, was the Bram Stoker, Francis Ford Coppola version. Also, I like the Anne Rice books, which obviously have takes on the sort of vampire myth as well. I will not, however, be watching the Stephen Moffat version that's just come out on BBC, because I refused to watch Stephen Moffat ruin something else that I love. So I'm going to be rereading this. I know we're heading into spring, but I don't think Dracula has a season at all. So that is number one. That's the only real classic on this list. Moving on, the rest of these are pretty much all fantasy, I will say. So I'm going to start off with the one that's come into my life most recently, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now, I really enjoyed the first book. I enjoy the second two books even more, but I'll reread all three of them in the upcoming months, and I think there are going to be more books in this series, which I'm quite happy with. The only thing that troubles me is someone said they might be about Nesta, and that troubles me because I don't like Nesta at all, but we'll live. So I picked this up not expecting really to enjoy it that much, but really did, and as I say, enjoyed the second two books even more. So this is going into the rotation. We'll see if it lasts and becomes a classic of the Gemma genre, as I sometimes refer to it in my head. And then we have Orion by Maggie Fury. This one is 600 pages long. There's 4 books in the series, and they centre around a mage called Orion, who in this first book is leaving her mum's home to go to the main sort of mages academy in the big city, and she becomes involved in the sort of power plays and struggles involved in all of that and what's going on. And Orion is a really cool character, and also the people and the side characters are really good. I love her friend, who is actually a talking panther, And then there are another 4 books following on from this. And let me see, yeah. Harp of Winds, Sword of Flame, and Diamara, and there are, you know, there's whale mages and flying people and all that kind of stuff. Oh, here we go, the blurb's back here. In ages past, there had been 4 magical weapons fashioned to be used only by the mage folk, but their history had been lost, together with the artefacts themselves and the cataclysm which had wrought changes on land and water alike. Lost also had been the history of the mage folk and the winged ones and the leviathans and fairy. Orion, child of renegade mages, finds herself sent to the city of Nexus to join the academy and then train as a full mage. Little does she suspect that she will quickly become entwined with the power struggles between Mython, the archmage, and the human inhabitants of Nexus. The only person to whom she can turn is Forel, commander of the city's military garrison and friend of her dead father. But this friendship infuriates Mython and leads to deadly conflagration, to which the first artifact is revealed. Orion's flight with her servant Anvar turns to the Odyssey and rite of passage as she travels to the little-known southern kingdoms and begins to rediscover the history of the weapons which are the only hopes against Mython and Armageddon, the artifacts of power, which is the name of the series. So it's total old school fantasy. It's full of tropes. It's great. It's predictable. You'll guess the storyline in about 10.5 minutes, but I love it. I think more people should read it. So there. Now, then we're going to put, this one is it's not a standalone, but it's a standalone within the world of Terry Pratchett, if that makes sense. It's a standalone within the disc. So this is The Monstrous Regiment by Terry Pratchett, and as you will see from the side of it, I have read this many, many times. Monstrous Regiment is, as I say, a standalone, so it's not a series. It takes place within the Discworld, but as I say, it's a standalone. So it's about a girl called Polly Perks who runs off to join the army disguised as a boy. She cuts her hair, she enlists in the army, she's looking for her lost brother, but there's a war on. There's always a war on, and Polly and her fellow recruits are suddenly in the thick of it without any training, and the enemy is hunting them. Now, if you know any quotes, you may know the quote from which this comes, the Monstrous Regiment of, and that kind of gives away quite a bit of the plot. I really love this. I love Polly. And it's really nice to have a novel that's taking place in other parts of the disc. There is, however, a bit of a cameo from Sam Vimes towards the end, my favourite character in the Discworld. So I will reread this. It's not hard to reread. I mean, the print is pretty big and it's only sort of 400 and like 500 pages. It's a shame we never got more Polly Perks, but I'll just need to reread this one instead. Now, next we have, I'm just going to go for, this is one loads of people will have read. This is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This series was, I think he started this before I was like born, possibly. No, sorry, I was 5. So yeah, 1990 this came out first. And this is the first book in the Wheel of Time series, which is I think like 14 books long. They're all pretty chunky and they centre around a world where people wield something called the power. Well done. saidar and saidin. It's split into male and female. And there was a cataclysm, a major event, which meant that all male channelers went insane and there's only female channelers left, but there is a legend that one of the sort of male channelers from the past will be reborn, the dragon reborn, and people are very, very scared of this happening. They're not looking forward to it happening at all. And this starts off with 3 boys who grew up in a quiet village and stuff happens. Shenanigans happen. And it's really, I think now it's really tropey and predictable, but I think in 1990 when it first came out it maybe wasn't as much. I mean, it does have some of the tropes as the series goes along that are so familiar from something like Lord of the Rings, like, you know, a wound that'll never heal or things like that, but at the time I think it was fresh when it came out and it did things in a different way. So the world that Robert Jordan builds is huge. You get a sense of an entire world and not just one country. And there's the interpersonal going on between the characters, but also there's sort of continental politics. And I just really love it. And I have read this so many times. Again, look at the spine, it's well cracked by now. In fact, no, I bought this one second hand. In fact, I bought this copy second hand when I was at uni because I think I'd given my copy away or left it at home or something, I can't remember. But I love this. Everyone, I think, if you like fantasy, you'd probably like it. My main thing, the only thing is, it's not very diverse. Well, I don't know, maybe. There's definitely not any like queer characters as far as I can remember. That's the only thing that might put people off. But I'm going to reread this again and I'm going to enjoy it just probably as much as I did the first time. So then my other sort of retro fave author is David Eddings, and I've talked about David Eddings before on the channel. I will talk about him again on the channel, no doubt. This is my favourite series of his, and this is The Millennium. The Millennium is about a man called Sparhawk who he was sort of exiled from his country of birth, but he's recalled when the new queen takes the throne. But by the time he gets there, someone has tried to poison her and she is being kept alive by the Diamond Throne. And he has to go on a quest with some fellow knights to try and recover the MacGuffin of the series, the Behelium, to cure her. Now, obviously more stuff happens than that, but it wouldn't take like 3 books to do it. But this to me is my favourite travelling book. Like, most of the 3 books is taken up by them, certainly the first 2, is taken up by their journeys. They are following a legend and they are obviously getting involved in loads of things on the way, so they spend a lot of time on a horse. I really like Sparhawk. He's one of my favourite sort of heroes. I also like the magic system in this, and I think it's probably David Eddings', I would say, his best work, I have to be honest. So I will reread this. There's 3 books in this series. Will I then go on and read the Tamuli? Probably, because I have no self-control. And I love. So I'm then going to read 2 Lynn Flewelling series. I'm going to reread the Night Runner series and I'm going to reread the Hidden Warrior, sorry, the Tamir Triad. I talk about the Tamir Triad every single time I talk about underrated fantasy, because I've never seen anyone else mention it on their channel. Please direct me to someone if they have. And also Luck in the Shadows. Both of these are set in the same world, the same fictional country of Scala. And while the Night Runner series was published first, the Bone Dolls Twin chronologically takes place first. The Bone Dolls Twin is, I would say, the more mature work. When you talk about an author and you talk about their work being more mature, I think I mean in terms of it's got far more depth. It talks about a lot of really difficult subjects. And the Bone Dolls Twin certainly has a lot of things with gender and sexuality in it that are talked about quite maturely, I think. The Night Runner series I do love. It's about gay spies. We love them, and I will always read more Sarah Gillen and Alec books as they come out. But if I could get you to read one, it would be this one. And last of all, I'm going to reread A Fortress in the Eye of Time by C.J. Cherryh. Again, why do I love such chunky ass fantasy books? This one's 800 pages, sorry, 760 pages, and there's 4 books in this series. It's about a boy called Tristan. Well, he's not really a boy. He is created by a wizard called Moral. He sort of comes into the world fully formed, and Moral sort of thinks that he's going to have time to train him and to teach him everything he needs to know before sort of setting him loose in the world. But unfortunately, something happens and he's not able to do that. And Tristan has to go out into the world on his own. And he is not entirely human. So people really want to be on the right side of him, and they know that he's very powerful, but some people are very afraid of him as well. And it's all about how he is involved in the politics of this kingdom and how he sort of is subverting some of the expectations that people have of him when they know what he is. So really enjoy CJ Cherryh's work. I think she covers things about predestiny and fate and all that kind of stuff quite a lot. She did it really well as well in Satine, which is a really great sci-fi novel. You could probably murder someone with a copy of Satine. It's huge. And that's about cloning and predestiny, and if you clone someone and bring them up the exact same way, will they turn out to be the exact same person? So I really enjoy those. So over the next 2 or 3 months probably, in between new books that I'm reading, I'm going to reread some of these. These are always great for getting me out of a slump. If I am in a slump, I'm like, will I read The Wheel of Time again? Why, yes, that sounds like a great idea. And it brings me right out of the slump, because then I'm excited about fantasy again and I want to get back into reading more new things. So I want to know, what are the things that you reread the most? Do you have some books that you go back to all the time? If so, let me know so that I can have a look at them as well myself. And have a good morning, evening, wherever you are. Take care. Bye-bye.